Welcome to the SeizeYourBusiness.com podcast and video blog. My name is Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law, joined as always by my co-host Jim Wazak.
Hello everybody.
Jim, where are you working these days? What are you doing?
I'm part of Family Heritage. We sell supplemental cancer insurance. If somebody encounters cancer, regular insurance is not going to pay enough for your bills, call me and we'll explain more.
All right, and our guest today is Adam Czerwinski from Sidebar Insurance. Our topic is going to be adding value to business partners. So thanks for being here with us today, Adam.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
So give us a little background about what you do and how you can help people.
Sorry about that. Sidebar Insurance we're an independent insurance agency, so we're able to offer multiple lines of multiple carriers and multiple lines of coverage. So we can handle anything from business insurance to your personal home and auto lines, as well as life insurance and disability insurance. The one thing we really just don't touch is medical, just because of all the regulations. We want to make sure that you're with the.
That's why we let them on the show. Let's just talk to me.
Yeah. So we really try and add value to our business partners and home and auto clients, so that we can really show add value for the long haul. Look at the relationship for more than just that first year of sale, and look at building a relationship for the next 20 or 30 years.
So let me ask you this question. I mean, it seems to me I would think most people would feel like, okay, I got my car insurance, I got my house insurance, maybe I have health and life at work. I mean, how are you going to add value? I mean, I buy the policy, I pay it, you pay my claims. I mean, how are you going to add value beyond that?
Yeah, so it's really kind of funny, is that the average person in Illinois spends $1,600 in insurance every year. So $1,600 when you add up all their policies, 2 cars, 1 house, whatever they have. So on average, and I always ask my clients, when's the last time you paid $1,600 for anything and didn't shop for it? You're buying a TV, one-time purchase, $1,600, or a couch. I mean, these are high-end stuff. You always shop it. Well, we add value by we look at it every year. Every time there's a renewal, we tell you in advance, here's your renewal, here's the change, and here are the other options that are up for you. And insurance is funny because it's counterintuitive how they do their pricing. The longer you're with them, the fewer discounts they give you. Your discounts actually erode. They use these discounts to entice you to come over, and they hope you set and forget your payments. So we add value to our clients by shopping these coverages every year, by talking to them about their carriers and the movements and why things are changing. We talk to them about their lifestyle. Insurance is different in different chapters of life. So when you're a new parent, or you're newlyweds, or you're 65 and sunsetting out of the work life, there's different needs for insurance and different reasons to have insurance at those times. And having that conversation with your agent year over year is important. That's the value you can add to those partners. And if you're paying an agent year over year and they're not doing those things, what are you paying them for? Right? So that's what we really that's how we look to add value to our clients.
So I remember years ago I used to buy insurance for the company I was working at, and one thing I remember is hearing it's not good to switch every year versus trying to still get the best deal. How do you balance those two aspects?
Absolutely, and that's part of the conversation, right? So you can certainly avail yourself to different discounts by checking every year, but moving every year, you become less of a attractive client for certain insurance companies, because they know if they're unlucky and you're moving year over year, and they're just unlucky to catch you that one year you have a loss, well then their premium certainly is in the red. They're in the red on your client base. So you just have to measure that. And that's what it's important to be with a professional who can understand those things and explain that to you. Look, you can maximize, generally on the personal side, just to give us a thumbnail, you can usually maximize your benefits in about 4 years. So if you've been with a carrier for 4 years, now you're the most attractive to that next carrier. So we usually look at that 4-year cycle, kind of like college. But again, insurance companies' tastes also change every year. So that's why it's important. You may find a company that just really wants your risk and the way you operate. So having that conversation year over year will avail you of that opportunity. But you're right, every year moving is not necessarily the best route to go.
So tell me we talked about adding value to clients. How about your business partners? You have referral partners. We talked offline, and you were doing some really creative stuff to be attractive and make people want to work with you.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of your ideas and what you've been doing.
Sure. So I'm always looking to innovate and business develop with the people in our community, not just to make the sale, but because I think that frankly, running a small business is hard, right? And so we can work together with one another to really help and create a synergy that really grows it. So what I look to do is, for instance, with real estate agents, I look to create ways that they can deal with their pain points. So some real estate agents tell me that they have a difficulty in lining everything up for close, because everyone gets paid at closure. So what I try to do is I try to find ways that work with them and their branding to provide their clients with all of the resources they need from contract to close in an efficient way. And we did that for some with brochures. We create brochures for them with all of their referral partners. We do sometimes we do PDFs, right, or just spread layouts. And sometimes we'll do things like they have trouble meeting customers or clients, so we'll do first-time homebuyer classes. Whatever ways we can add value to their business and their brand, we just hope that comes back to us, or we believe that's going to come back to us in the back end.
That was actually my ulterior motive for starting this podcast. Before it became a thing and it kind of took off, I was just doing it as a way to add value to my business partners and my clients, and have my business clients on as guests and give them make myself interesting to them. And it turned into something completely different. But that's it. You find that if you are looking for creative ways to work with people, you might find a niche that really helps your business in a significant way.
Yeah, it's great. I tend to feel like Newton was right in more things than physics, right? Businesses and salesmen that stay in motion or are involved and keep moving tend to have more business keep moving, and that when you become slowed down and you stay at your desk and you're just working and pounding through the day, things tend to slow down as well. And it's just, I think that has some real kind of the inertia of it all is very it's a self-fulfilling prophecy to some extent. So whereas you did the podcast with the thought of it being one way, I'm sure that it maybe has had some other residual effects that because of just the mere movement of it all, right?
You know what, I want to throw something at you, maybe just because it's been a recent frustration of my own, but here's the business tip, and then I'll ask you the question I want to talk about. If you meet somebody at a networking event and they tell you that they want to buy from you, it's a good idea to actually follow up with that person, because I've had people not do that, believe it or not. I mean, what's your take on that? I mean, I can't believe how many times I've either told people I want something or I've given them, and they just do nothing. I guess I don't give those people leads anymore. But have you experienced that? And what's your opinion?
I think it's absolutely true, and I think there was a study I think done not too long ago that said that about 70% of all sales take about 7 or 8 touches. And even in today's marketplace with changing demographics and changing decision makers, the know, like, and trust model is becoming more and more prevalent. Before they buy anything from you, they got to know who you are, and before they buy anything from you, they got to like you, and then they got to trust you to get past that. And so it's one thing that I kind of built up on is the only way they're going to get that is by multiple touches and by following up. And so I applaud you for calling it out. Unfortunately, I think what works out best for us and for people who are diligent and kind of maybe watching this podcast, because I'm sure people who they're by being movers and shakers, that gives us an advantage, right? And we should all leverage that and make sure that's part of our plan.
Well, and both, whether you're selling something to somebody and you meet them at a networking event and you're talking about client-to-client sales or referral partner relationships, you've got to have a follow-up process, and if you don't have a tight follow-up process, you can't just do it on the fly. If you don't have a process for it, things are going to fall through the cracks. And what I like about some of the things that you're doing and adding value to business partners is that the way I think about it, you and I sat down the other day and met, for the first time. We liked each other. We thought, hey, there's all these different ways we could work together. But I've had a lot of meetings like that where, if you can't find some way to add value to each other and something to work on together, or get involved in a group together, do something continuing after that, you forget that you met with that person 3 weeks later. And so some people will plug those people into like a sales force and just remind themselves to follow up every couple weeks or couple months. But what you're doing is you're immediately. Can I talk about the brochure that you're doing? Is that
No,
trade
fine.
secret stuff?
No, we're fine.
Like you're immediately.
I don't think he wants you to talk about his marketing thing, because then people will know about him and they might come. So by all means, don't talk about that.
Yeah, but what was cool was instantly we sat down and you said, hey, here's something I'm doing for other referral partners. there was a brochure that you make for your referral partner, and it's, it lists a bunch of different resources. And for, you could have, you did it for a realtor, Adriana, who did a podcast with us before. She had 3 attorneys listed, 3 mortgage people listed. She got to pick who she would list, and you just happen to be the only insurance resource, which, you're putting in the effort for the brochure, so why not? But you've instantly made a connection with that person, given them a value, and given them a reason to even, 1, remember you exist, and 2, make it really easy to refer people to you. And you did the same thing with me. You said, where's a pain point? How can I help you out? Well, I could use an easier way to invite people to all of our events, or come up with a little handout, and before I can even get to it, you're giving me, hey, here's a template, here's something, here's an idea. And it's that sort of thing that makes you sticky and makes you not just be, one of many people that I had met with that way. So.
Sure, and that's great. That's what I'm looking for. To me, the biggest question I ask myself every day is, am I doing this right, and am I doing it different? And I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think in some cases, if you're doing it right, you have to do it like everyone else. But if you are doing everything like every other person, then why is someone going to choose you over them? And so I really look, when I'm coming to meetings with you, or talking to Jim on the phone, or whatever it might be, or doing a podcast like this, I want to look at ways that I can add value even on this camera, so that people know that authenticity comes through. I'm adding value, I'm doing it differently. I'm not going to come to you with a meeting and then immediately go, hey, by the way, buy my insurance. And
Sure.
if that doesn't convert, because the fact is my hope, and I really feel this long way, is that the long play is going to be far more rewarding than the instant sale. One of the things that I deal with fairly regularly is the ownership of a vehicle, right? Everyone loves the idea of having the tax benefit of having their vehicle owned by their company, but they don't like the enhanced coverage cost, because insurance companies in their business policies it's a significant difference between your personal insuring. So a lot of business owners will own the business and the company, but insure it on their personal property. Well, that's a big red flag, because if it's owned by the company, technically, because it's an entity unto itself, you can't insure it directly. You have no insurable risk. And so we had this instance not too long ago where, he's the owner of a company, and for 15 years he'd been driving. And fortunately for him, he didn't have an accident. But if he had, and it's particularly a significant one, there was a potential for an insurance company to say, look, you weren't insuring it properly, we're not covering this risk.
So the cost of business insurance for a vehicle versus personal, does that, in your experience, and you're not an accountant, so you may not know this, but does the extra cost tend to outweigh the savings you get for writing off that vehicle on your taxes?
Here's what I would say. Get your tax professional involved so they can tell you the benefits versus the negatives, and get your insurance person involved to give you quotes on both. Hey, I'm looking to buy a new car. Is it behoove me to buy it with the company, or does it behoove me to buy it with as an individual? Because it can work both ways. I had another person who bought their work truck personally, used it for commercial purposes, insured it personally. Well, then when the accident happened, the personal insurance said, no, we may not be covering this. And they're in litigation. So really, a lot of people deal with insurance as an afterthought, or just as a budgetary line and a headwind. But really, you should think about insurance as enabling you to feel comfortable in your business, grow your business, feel strong with what you have, because you have some net of support. Understand, insurance can't cover everything. You can't insure every risk. But at the same time, it can give you a solid foundation, and you should really kind of take care of it in that way, not just think of it as a monthly premium. God, I gotta pay this again. And so I would say involve the insurance agent in that conversation. I'm thinking about a car that's generally not a rushed decision. Do it which benefits me, and then they can run a quote for you and say, this is under the commercial policy, it would cost this. Under your home personal policy, it will cost that. Take it to the tax guy and say, okay, which benefits me as a pass-through? Am I able to write it off more? Does it make tax sense for me to do that?
Yeah, and I guess I would share that I've gotten to know and worked with a lot of smaller business owners, and it strikes me sometimes as ridiculous the risks they're taking without knowing it, thinking they're cutting a corner here or saving a buck here. A story comes to mind, and I don't know all the details. There's probably gonna be some details you'll wanna know about that I won't know about. But it was told to me by an attorney who specializes in asset protection, okay? And the story he tells is that gentleman owned a business. It was a Saturday, and he was getting a delivery from like a UPS or something like that. Well, the business was closed, so somehow he called him and said, hey, just bring it to my house. Guy brings it to his house, falls on the kid's skateboard, is a quadriplegic, okay? So his business insurance said, well, that's not covered because it wasn't on business property. And his homeowner's insurance said it wasn't covered because it was really a business. You know,
That's
now, again, I don't know all the technical details. I do know this was a sharp guy, and a straight shooter is telling me the story. So I think that's just an example of how you really should coordinate all this, and probably have your accountant as well as your attorney. Maybe at least be aware of what you're doing.
Yeah, I think the just to that point indicates again that kind of how holistic planning on your insurance coverages really helps, but also. Look, there are things that aren't insured. Like there are unfortunately risks out there that you can't insure for. But the point of it all is to take that holistic view as best you can, and then deal with it as they go. I mean, that's kind of a horror. That's a horror story and a law school exam all wrapped into one.
Right.
So, that's I could without the specifics and the case law and everything else. I don't think Kevin could do a little better job breaking that down for us. But I wouldn't. That just sounds to me like, again...
Sounds like it could have been solved by someone, because a lot of people only do P&C insurance or home insurance, and some other people only do business, but you do it all, right?
Right,
so that might be the solution to preventing that from happening, having one guy make sure you don't have gaps.
Well, and you need to have a guy who is interested enough to look at, even if it's a relatively small amount of premium, to still get the best coverage. Because I'm sure there's agents who say, you need, I'll do it the simplest way because maybe it's only a few $100, not realizing the business could grow.
Well, I talk to people a lot about it. Insurance should always be a value game, right? It's not about what's the cheapest. It's about what's the value that's providing to you and your family, peace of mind. Just that fact scenario you talked about brought up in my head, an umbrella policy, things of that nature which would cover the grayer areas of life and would be there for those type of incidents. But all those things said, it's more so about a higher calling, providing your clients with value, understanding what their risks and what their pain points are, understanding also your business partners, getting back to the adding value to your business partners, understand what their pain points are. I think an important question that I think we can all ask our business partners is what is your hang up, right? Everyone's got processes in their office, and everyone's got rough edges. Can we smooth some of those through our relationship here? It doesn't even have to be insurance related. A lot of times I'm talking to people about things that are wholly unrelated to insurance. But they talked about ways that they may be able to smooth out a pain point, and if I can help in that way grow their business, the hope is it comes back and helps mine.
Sure. I have to bring this up because how long have we been doing it? Over a year, right?
Yeah.
First opportunity I have to bring this up, so I'm going to do it. But you mentioned it's like a law school and insurance exam. And for some reason that makes me think back to my business law classes that I took in college. And my very favorite expression was that a principal is responsible for the acts of their agent unless the agent is on a frolic of their own. And I think frolicking on your own just is a really cool term to be in a law conversation. And look at Kevin, he frolics all the time.
Well, on that note, Adam, how can people reach you?
Well, you can frolic, I guess, my way. You can check out our website. It's sidebarinssurance.com. You can give me a call, 708-942-5150. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We try and meet our clients and our business partners wherever they want to meet us. So we try to be available whenever we can. Just give us a call, shoot us an email, and we'd love to work with you on ways that you can help you grow your business or protect your business or just work together to find clients who have a shared interest in protecting themselves and their family.
Jim, how can people reach you?
Telephone is the best. Cell phone is 630-272-3895. And Kevin?
Yeah, so you can call me for a free consultation. We do almost every area of law, basically everything but patent law. You can call me at 630-324-6666. That's 630-324-6666. Go to our website, seizeyourbusiness.com. We're over 100 videos and podcasts, and you can check out our YouTube channel. So we've talked about most areas of business ownership and entrepreneurship, so there's something that'll help you there, I'm sure.
One more thing. If you or somebody you know would like to be a guest on our show, feel free to contact us. We're pretty booked, but we always can find room for an interesting person.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but not least, learn-about-law.com is my legal blog, podcast, and video blog where we focus on legal issues, including business law. So check those out. Adam, thanks for being here today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Thanks for listening.